Welcome back. I hope everyone had a great summer and you're excited to get back to the school year and you're just as excited as I am to be back. I usually like to start off the year with going through some announcements and telling you about updates and changes that took place over the summer. The biggest summer maintenance project that took place this year was installing a new roof on the high school, so let's go up and take a look at it. All right, well here it is. This is our new roof. The project took pretty much all summer long. A lot of work went into it. You may not realize it, but this building is 30 years old, which means the old roof was 30 years old. So this new one is not only white and looks nicer, but more importantly, it's not going to be leaking anymore. So hopefully the days of wet ceiling tiles and leaks in the building are over, and we have a nice new roof this year. Another project we did this summer was we added some more water filling stations to the building. We added 2 more. The first one is going to be over in the gym, so let's go over there and take a look at that. All right, the 2 filling stations that we put in the cafeteria last year were really heavily used, which is great because water is good for you, so we'll drink up on some nice fresh water. We added 2 new ones this year, one right here in the gym, and then another one down in the cafeteria, or not in the cafeteria, down in the weight room. And we have plans to add 2 more as the year goes on. One is going to be by the library on the 2nd floor, and the other one's going to be on the 3rd floor up by the bathrooms. Alrighty, so like I said, here's the other one down here in the weight room. The one thing that you want to make sure is if you're coming down to the weight room or the gym, make sure you bring a water bottle with you so that you can fill it up, because there's not a regular fountain in here anymore, so make sure you have a water bottle with you. And then I also want to go through a couple changes for this year. The first one is we added bus information to your Skyward accounts. That is a very good thing, so if you need to know what bus you're on, you would go into your Skyward account, you would find it that way. Normally on the first day of school, students are outside at the end of the day trying to figure out what buses to get on. I'm flipping through papers trying to help them out, and it's usually a mess. So before you leave the building today, if you're a bus student, make sure you go into your Skyward account. It'll tell you right in there what bus you take home, and then we won't have that issue at the end of the day. So another change that's taken place for this year is that the library is going to be closed this year during block 1. So that is period 1 and period 2, the library will be closed. A couple reasons that we decided to do that is one is multimedia is up here during period 1 and period 2, getting ready for the announcements and doing all of their video and the recording and things like that. So that's one of the reasons. And another is we have so many students that have great grades that have study hall in the morning, and if you have great grades, you don't need to come in for your first block study hall, so we figured we would just keep the library closed during that period of time. The one thing you do need to know because of that change, if you need to borrow a Chromebook for the day, you used to come up to the library to sign one out for the day, but now you're going to have to report down to the main office to borrow one for the day. All right, lastly, I want to go through some behavioral expectations. Wilson is the greatest school around, and you know how much I love it here, and we need to keep it to be the greatest school around. And there are some things last year that negatively impacted the school environment, and we need to clean some of that stuff up a little bit so that we can have the best school around. I will address the first of those things, and then I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Albee. The one that I will address is cell phones. Cell phones are great. You have Skyward stuff on your cell phones, you have GPS stuff, you could listen to music, you could access the internet. Cell phones are a great device to have. But they can also be a distraction in the classroom, and that's what we need to clean up a little bit. Heck, cell phones are a distraction everywhere. You see people texting and driving and walking and texting and screwing up conversations when they go out to eat with their family. So they can be a great device, but they could also be a distraction, and we need to learn the right way to use cell phones so that they're not a distraction in our school. So our role is students can have their cell phones with them when they're in school at the high school. You can use it in the cafeteria during lunch, and you could use it in the hallway between classes, but that's between classes. Any other time, you need teacher permission to be able to use it. When you walk into a classroom, your phone should be away, and it should stay away until a teacher would give you permission to be able to use your phone. Many teachers will be recommending to put your phone into a pouch or something like that up in the beginning of the room to take that temptation away from you to use your cell phone. My expectation is that you follow whatever procedure a teacher puts in place, and you don't end up making a cell phone issue a bigger issue in a classroom. When students leave a class to use the bathroom, don't take your cell phone with you because you can't use it anyway. During class time when you're in the hall, you should not be on a cell phone or even have a cell phone out. The only time you could use it without permission is during lunch and in the hallway between classes, not during class time. And now I'd like to turn over to Mr. Albee for a few more reminders.
Welcome back, everybody. So I'm going to address, Mr. Marcelli addressed cell phones. I'm going to address dress code. So dress code last year became a bit lax, throughout the year, especially towards the end of the year as well. This is something that's minor, but it's very important, and it helps us keep the great culture that we have here at Wilson all together. So here are a couple very helpful guidelines that you should follow. Hats, head coverings, hoodies, all those things should be off as soon as you enter the building. You should not wait for anybody to ask you to take it off. The expectation is as soon as you enter, you should take it off. Also, we need to make sure that we're dressing appropriately every single day. That includes we should not be wearing any cut-off shirts. We should not be wearing any strapless tops or any tops that excessively expose the midsection, anything of that nature. And if you have any questions like that throughout the year, feel free to ask a teacher, or if you want to come down and ask one of us in the main office, we'll be open to answer any questions you guys may have. Now, the expectation, like Mr. Marcelli was saying with cell phones, and I was reviewing dress code, is that if a teacher redirects you, you need to simply comply with their request. And if we have a hard time, if we don't comply with their request, if we don't go about the rest of our day, there could be increased consequences, for that matter. So we don't need to make something larger than it has to be. If there are any questions about those things, about dress code and cell phones or anything of that nature that seems minor, please come down to the office or ask your teacher to address it as well, and we can answer those questions for you. Now I'm gonna show you guys and review some of the vape detector expectations and procedures from last year as well. All right, guys. So I want to review the procedures and expectations for vape detectors that we had last year in high school. So up top, we have a couple of these in the girls' bathroom and the men's bathroom all across the school, and that includes the bathrooms next to the gym as well. So the procedure is, if we get alerts on our phones, whether it's Officer Searfoss, Mr. Marcelli, myself, Mr. Badman, if we get those alerts on our phones and you are in the bathroom during that time, we're going to ask you, we're going to bring you down to the office with your belongings, and your stuff will be searched. So if you're in that bathroom within a 5 to 10 minute range, if it's empty in there, we look back on the camera and we see what's been going on in the bathroom, and we'll get those individuals down to the bathroom for men, for the men's and for the women's room, and for the gym side as well. And so just to make you guys aware that we're going to follow that process from day one on August 26th. So starting today, if anything go off, we're going to follow that process and those procedures right from the get-go. So if you have any questions about that stuff, please feel free to come down to the office, and ask us any questions about it, and help us keep our school safe, make smart decisions, and have a great rest of the year.
Well, hopefully all of that stuff didn't come across too negative. I certainly don't want to start the year off on a negative tone. I want everybody to be excited to be back, and I want everyone to have a great year. But if we don't do a great job of managing some of those little things, then we don't have that great environment in the school that we want to maintain. So we wish all of you a fabulous school year. Make the best of the year. Hopefully on Thursday is going to be our pep rally. Hopefully everybody shows up at that pep rally with a lot of pep and make a lot of noise and cheer everybody on. And then from right there on through the rest of the year, you have an outstanding year.